Well, looks good. We just went straight into it. Didn't give any like, oh hey guys or whatever.
No, no.
Um,
But let me set the intro. So I guess like nerds at the cool table, we're pretty much doing a not necessarily like an in a reaction because we already saw it multiple times, but it's more of like our own sort of like recap and review of the Thor. Is it Thor 4 already? Thor Love and Thunder
yeah,
trailer.
throw four. Hmm.
Taika's second Thor. And yeah, like initially, like, what do you think right off the bat, Julian?
Um, it's colorful.
Yeah.
Probably one of the more like most colorful looking Marvel movies I've ever seen. Like even that he's wearing so many costumes in this, but there's one particular where it's like the colors are so vivid and bright.
Hmm.
So it's a very that's my initial thought looking at this is a very colorful movie,
I
more
mean,
so
it.
than any of the other Marvel movies I've seen.
Yeah, definitely, you're right, and I almost feel like it's on purpose because we finally got a glimpse of Christian Bale's character, Gore the God Butcher, and that's like straight up black and white. Like,
Hmm.
and I guess it's supposed to
Yeah,
be like a antithesis to like Thor's colorfulness and how this guy like just drains the life out of everything.
yeah, that feels like that's how they're like depicting his power and his sword, whatever they're gonna call it, the Necro sword or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's what it looks like. It looks like whatever he does when he kills gods, it like literally just drains the
Drains the
color,
life. Yeah.
the life out of everything, which is cool. He looks good. I'm glad they kept his nose because in the comics, Gore doesn't have a nose, but then
I
he
thought
would
he
have looked like
Voldemort. I thought he was
yeah,
gonna
he
look
would
like
look like
Voldemort.
Voldemort.
Yeah, yeah. He looks
Yeah, he
fucking
would have looked like
frightening though.
Voldemort.
He looks fucking frightening, like scary as
Yeah,
fuck. Yeah.
I think it looks really creepy because he's like super black and white, like super like the contrast
Monochromatic.
real
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but his eyes are yellow,
Mm-hmm.
which gives him an even creepier look. But it
Yeah.
looks good. He looks good.
Yeah.
Um, his sword though, it's very different than in the comics. It looks like a very just
Like a
classic.
normal Game of Thrones type of broadsword type of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It looks
It's
thin too.
interesting. Yeah,
Like I thought it was
thin.
gonna look a little like bigger, almost like the what was the name of the blade that Jon Snow used to carry? Fuck, I forgot the name of the sword that Jon Snow used to have. I thought it was gonna look a little like more robust like that.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was called either, but yeah, I feel you. I thought
Yeah.
it would look more like what's the character from Final Fantasy that had the big
Oh, I was gonna say Ash Ketchum. No, it's fucking Cloud.
no. Yes, yes.
Yeah,
I thought the sword would look more like that, but
that would have been cool.
it's a cool take.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and there was like there's some things in this that are very interesting. Like the towards the end,
Mhm.
there's this scene of Jane calling up the thunder, and you see these statues
Mhm.
on the side of her.
Yeah.
You got like the living tribunal, and then you see one of the watchers. It might be Watu,
Mhm.
and then you see death, and then there's two other figures. I'm not sure what they are. Looks like two other things over there, but I'm not sure what they are. But there's
Where?
these like little,
Mhm.
huh?
I was gonna say, where
What
is
you
she?
said
Do you
where?
know? Do you know where she could be there? Like, where's that? Like a specific area? You think?
No idea. No idea where she could be.
Mm.
But it's interesting that there's all these like look. That's what is this? The 148 mark.
Mhm.
There's like that's where the scene is.
Mhm.
There's these just like super high powered beings, statue
Yeah.
beings like
Yeah.
around her. Like the Living Tribunal is interesting because I feel like they just kind of showed up in Multiverse of Madness too, like
Yeah.
in the so that's kind of interesting. And
During
then
one of
Watu
during
being
one
there.
of the one of the jumps through.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Mhm.
And then Watu being there is kind of interesting too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I I'm curious on like what where this movie is kind of gonna go, like, cause one thing I have seen a lot of people talk about, and I mean I kind of feel them,
Mhm.
is like it's another Thor finding himself kind of movie, but
Mhm.
I feel like he's kind of been doing that in the past couple of movies. It's him trying to figure out who he is,
Mhm.
which I feel like he's doing the same thing again, but we'll see. I don't know.
But this is The way I see it, this is like, I mean, if you think about Thor in Ragnarok, at that point he had only lost. What did he lose? He essentially
Everything.
just no, not yet, because not at that point. It was only at the end of that. At that point, he had only lost his mom and he lost his dad at the beginning, and then
And then he lost his eye and his
but then that
hammer.
was that was towards the end.
Well, he lost his hammer in the beginning.
Yeah, his hammer.
He lost the hammer at the same time as his
Yeah,
dad.
yeah, true, true. But
Yeah.
I think this is like this is Thor after that, because if you think about it, Thor Ragnarok into Infinity War was all like within a short amount of time for him. So he literally lost everything in such a short amount of time. He lost his people and then like couldn't save them and then had to wait 5 years. So like this is Thor after all of that shit, after having dealt with everything. I mean, at the end of Endgame, he was already like, all right, I don't know what my purpose is. And this is Thor, I guess, like trying to refine his purpose. I think in Ragnarok, he wasn't so much trying to find his purpose, but I think he was like trying to sort of, I guess, trying to like make sense out of like if he truly is a god or not. And I think in Love and Thunder, he knows he's a god. He like because I remember what was the big thing that made him sort of charge up in Ragnarok when his dad was like, "Did I make you the god of hammers or did I make you the god of thunder or whatever?"
Yeah.
So he knows he's a god, but here it's like, okay, I'm a god. What's all this for? And like I saved all these people, and I still feel purposeless, I guess, you know. And I'm kind of
Hmm.
curious to see at the beginning of this because it clearly shows that he starts off with the Guardians at the beginning, and then the rest of the movie happens. So I'm
Yeah.
curious to see him like what he's been doing with the Guardians this entire time. You know.
Yeah. I feel like from where I off the two trailers, yeah, he's gonna start. He's gonna start off with the Guardians.
Mm-hmm.
Something is gonna call him back
Mm-hmm.
to Asgard,
Mm-hmm.
where he needs to be there, because it looks
Mm-hmm.
like there's a scene where there's like, I don't know, there's a battle, and that was definitely Asgard, where he actually sees Jane. There's some type of battle at Asgard. I don't know. It looks like some bug
Oh,
monsters or
New
something.
Asgard or whatever. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it seems like a battle. It's gonna start. It's gonna start with the Guardians. Gonna then he's gonna go to Asgard.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then it looks like he goes to Olympus. That's where the place where Zeus is.
Mm-hmm.
Something's gonna happen there, and then
It,
from there, that's kind of all you really get. I think there's gonna be somewhere else after that, but that seems like the where the story goes from what I'm seeing on these trailers so far.
there seems to be so where you're saying where because they go to Olympics, it looks like it's a gathering of gods from the looks of it because it seems like Jane and Valkyrie are sitting next to each other in that one photo that I think they posted online where they're like sitting next to each other in like a these like sort of like seats or whatever. And I'm assuming it's like a gathering of gods because in that photo that they posted online, it's like Jane and Valkyrie, and then there's like another
You know
like
what's interesting about that photo is
mm-hmm.
like, okay, they had that photo, but in the trailer, it looks like they're in disguise sitting there.
True.
So I'm curious on like why are they in disguise in the trailer, but on that picture they're like just chilling normal.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting too. Also, sidebar, I like another thing I do like when female Thor is using her hammer,
Mm-hmm.
it looks like she shoots the broken
She
pieces
like
out.
breaks it up and yeah, 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 that looks cool. That's
Yeah,
a cool move.
yeah, that looked kind of cool. She shoots the broken pieces out, and I guess they all just come back.
Yeah,
That's kind of cool.
yeah.
I think she looks great. I
She looks
don't like
fantastic.
Thor's goofy looking helmet. That
I
was even
think
a
it's almost
weird
a.
shot.
I think it's on purpose. Like because I saw that I was like, that looks like it looks like a parody almost. Like like the helmet doesn't even look like it fits him properly. Like it looks, and the CGI looks kind of funky or whatever. I'm wondering if
I,
it's just like on purpose that it's supposed to look goofy.
I feel like that's one of those trick out scenes. Like that's probably not going to be in the movie. Because
Mm-hmm.
also, I'm like, wasn't he wearing a whole nother outfit in that same place?
Mm-hmm.
He was literally wearing the more leather looking outfit
Yeah, yeah,
in one scene, and then in the other scene, he's wearing the very colorful with the goofy helmet.
yeah. I mean,
That that
think about how Ragnarok originally, Hela destroys the hammer, and they're in an alley, in the I think in one of the first two trailers, and then in the final movie they're
Yeah,
out in the open in Norway. So yeah, I mean we know that they fake it out during the trailers or they change things in post production. So I can't even. I mean, yeah, I don't base it. I don't think that's gonna be the end look, but it looks kind of goofy. Um,
yeah. That helmet looks really goofy.
yeah,
I don't really want to see that much, and on this movie, it looks so
because
weird.
I think didn't they first show it like in a Lego? It was like revealed in a Lego.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I was just like, okay, it just looks funky because it's a Lego. But now seeing it on Thor, I was like, oh yeah, that totally sucks. I don't like it.
yeah. But her female Thor's helmet looks good. They did really good on her
Yes,
look. She looks good.
she looks great. She looks great. She looks really good. Um, yeah, I'm very glad. Talking about Christian Bale, I'm very glad that they didn't do much to like make him look all super CGI or anything. Like I like that it was all makeup. Like
Yeah,
I because you can see his face, you can see how he's acting with his face and with his eyes. Like I think like they're using Christian Bale's best assets here where he's like, okay, let's just kind of show him as opposed to like making him look like Voldemort, which I thought they were going to do. I thought they were going to do the Voldemort thing and like remove his nose, and I'm glad they didn't do that.
no, I think yeah, he looks really good. He looks very
Mhm.
creepy, very
Mhm.
demonic. Uh, I think he's going to be a really good villain.
Mhm.
Like it's Christian Bale. He's an awesome
Yeah.
actor.
You know what? You know
Um,
what's funny? I was like, people were like saying yesterday, like, oh, it's gonna be the best Marvel villain we've had in a while, and I was like trying to think of like who have been the villains in this pretty much this phase lately, and
let's go backwards. Why don't we? We had, I guess, spoilers in Marvel. What was it? It was Scarlet
okay,
Witch in Mom and Scarlet in Doctor
multiverse,
Strange
yeah,
uh
in
mom.
mom,
uh,
Shang Chi,
Re-
we had
Shang-Chi. It was his
Wengwu.
dad and a weird, crazy dragon.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about the
Um,
goddamn dragon at the end.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
But he was a good villain. He was
then
a
we
good villain.
had
Like, okay, the dad was a good villain. Um,
yeah, no, he was a good villain. I wish they didn't kill him off.
who else do we
Um,
have? I mean, Black Widow.
Black Widow,
What was the name of the guy? Ah, fuck, I forget. The actor's great. I forgot the name
yeah,
of the. I mean, he was a good villain because it was realistic. He was like a creepy, sexual sort of.
casting couch bad
Yeah,
guy.
exactly. So that was good in how realistic it was. Um, Eternals.
uh, are we just talking about the movies? Oh, the Eternals. It was the
The Deviants, but it was
aliens
a Deviant, but
and
it was what's his name?
yeah, it was lame. The Deviants and it was Icarus. Icarus
Icarus.
and the Deviants.
Yeah, he was the internal
Yeah,
villain. I guess like the good guy turning bad. What other movie did we
yeah.
have?
Well, not really
That's
bad. He just following orders
kind of been it, right? Like in Phase 4. I mean, I guess we are talking only about the movies.
in movies. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, Kang is supposed to be the overall villain, but we've only seen him in Loki. So,
yeah.
yeah, I guess in this phase, Christian Bale
Not
might
amazing. Not amazing villain so far.
not memorable. I guess, and they're a little bit
Not
more.
memorable.
They're. It feels like they're more connected to the main to like the hero. Like we're saying, because if it was Icarus, it was the guy who was like the guy who was running the Black Widows, um, Shang-Chi's dad. They're all connected to the main character. This one actually feels like a full-on bad guy who like doesn't give a shit about the main character. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
so maybe in the way Christian Bale is, like Christian Bale never fucking misses. So I could see. I mean,
Probably a one and done. They're probably going to kill him off at the end.
I think so too. I think so too. I mean, have you read have you read the book where he's in? Like,
No, I mean I've read pieces of it. I've never been a big Thor comic book guy,
mm-hmm,
but I mean I remember that run
mm-hmm,
and I've read a little bit of it. I haven't came back to it, but I mean, yeah, he was a good villain in the books.
mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I think with an actor like Christian Bale, it seems like he's more of like a one and done. He's going to do a really good. I think he's going to kill it,
Mm-hmm.
and we're going to want him to stay, and then they're going to kill him.
Yeah, I mean the same. It was like the same thing with Shang Chi's dad. Like he's too good of an actor to like have over multiple movies. They're like, he's gonna kill it in this one role, and that's it. You know,
Who are you talking about?
Tony Leung.
Shang-Chi's dad?
Yeah, Tony Leung, the actor.
I wish they would have kept him. I liked him
He
too.
was so good. He
But
was so good.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think it is gonna be a one and done. I really hope it's. Okay, so I mean, without getting too much into it, and like, it's not like this is not going to be like a Scarlet, like a Doctor Strange review, but my thought, like, here's been my thoughts lately with the Marvel movies that have come out since Endgame, and I think, and I hope that Thor doesn't suffer the same thing. I feel like everybody's expecting a moment like Captain America grabbing Mjolnir, where it's like this crowd cheering moment. Oh yeah, we literally just forgot about
Hmm.
Spider-Man, the Spider-Man villains. You know, those are villains. Sorry.
Oh, I guess that counts as Phase 4 too,
That's
right?
Phase Four,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It was
It was Green Goblin
the
essentially.
Sinister Four,
Sinister Four.
right? There was four of them.
Yeah, there's four, but it was essentially Green Goblin was the main villain if you think about it. He killed.
Green Goblin,
Yeah,
yeah, but
well, he's already been the villain. So, what I was gonna
yeah,
say though, like everybody's sort of expecting this like crazy cheering moment that we had during Endgame, which is very hard to replicate now. And I think Doctor Strange sort of suffered the same thing, at least in my theater. My theater didn't have, like, for some reason, everybody was really quiet during the reveals of the Illuminati. So it wasn't like as crazy, like, oh, Reed Richards, and like it was kind of quiet. Everybody was like, who's that guy, you know?
yeah,
Um,
yeah, because nobody knew who the.
Nobody knew the,
They were like, "Yo, is that the guy from The
yeah, like
Office?"
what is? Wait, what was his role? What is the dad from The Quiet Place doing here?
Yeah, I don't think anybody really got
Yeah,
like just not people like us, but like regular movie goers who just like
it was too.
don't
It was
read
too much
the.
of a deep cut. Too much of a deep cut of a reveal. But I
Yeah.
guess what I'm saying is that I guess the point I'm trying to get at is that like I really hope that the movie itself doesn't suffer from all these other things, which is like everybody expecting cameo after cameo after cameo. Like I feel like Marvel has gotten way too like I guess not Marvel itself, but I guess the fan base has gotten too has become too expectant of other cameos that lead to other things, as opposed to like caring about the story itself, which should be the
Hmm.
important thing. And I hope that people like care about the actual story, which is Thor's story in this movie, and like this battle between Gore and Thor, or Gore's whatever mission he's doing, as opposed to us waiting like, all right, cool. So like, who's gonna cameo and like, what's gonna be the post credit? Like, I hope that this, and I think so that with Taika's done a good job at Ragnarok. I think he's gonna do a good job here. I just hope people's
Yeah.
expectations aren't like, we're gonna reveal the Living Tribunal. Just that little moment that you said, like, oh yeah, like Jane was in this one area with the Watcher was there. It's like people are gonna
Yeah.
go in like, oh yeah, the Watcher from the cartoon's gonna be there. Like it's gonna. I don't want it to take away from the actual story, which already looks
Yeah.
really interesting. You know.
I think where this movie wins, where the other movies, other than Spider-Man,
Mm-hmm.
really kind of this has a little head up on it, is
Mm-hmm.
like this is a character that is from the beginning, people care about a
Mm-hmm.
lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not even though I like Shang-Chi, it's not Shang-Chi
It's not
who
like it's like a new. It's not a new person. It's
it's
like
not something that no one really knows about where it's like, do I need to see this? But
yeah.
it's Thor. People love Thor. He's
Mm-hmm.
been there since since phase one.
Yeah.
And people love Chris Hemsworth. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that part of
Yeah.
it will
Yeah.
help it a lot.
Yeah. He's essentially a household name now. Which is a
Yeah,
good thing.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
I think that's it. That was even like, even though like Doctor Strange is number one right now,
Mm-hmm.
I think even he's a little bit more than Doctor Strange. This is like
Mm-hmm.
Thor
Yeah.
is like people love Scarlet Witch and Doctor Strange now, but Thor's been there a little longer.
Yeah.
People call like Ragnarok. It's in a good amount of people's top five, top
I,
10 of the Marvel
I've
movies.
always
So
said if moms can recognize it, then you're a hit. Like if a mom can look at that guy like, oh, that's
yeah,
Thor. Yeah, you're a household name.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So I think it will do well. I think I hope I kind of I trust Taika, and I think I think it will be good. I believe that this is going to be probably the one the better of the three,
Mm-hmm.
uh, of the four Thor movies. I
Yeah.
think it will be up there. because I
Yeah.
liked Ragnarok, but I didn't love Ragnarok like everyone else did.
I
It was
mean,
good.
yeah,
It
yeah.
was, yeah,
I
but I
think
think this is gonna be a little.
I think what made Ragnarok iconic for me was, them playing the Led Zeppelin song and that becoming Thor's unofficial theme song. And that kind of already it cemented. It's like this is his. Like, I'm big on iconography. Like, I'm big on
Mhm,
like what's something you can just hear a few notes of or hear a line of, and it like immediately reminds you what that is. The moment I hear
mhm,
the Immigrant Song by Led Zeppelin, I know, okay, that's Thor's theme music. Even though it's a classic rock song, now it's established itself as like, it's kind of like hearing like an AC/DC song and knowing like, oh yeah,
mhm.
Iron Man. You immediately go to that Iron Man. So like,
Yeah.
Taika was able to establish, because I feel like Thor was that one Avenger that nobody really knew what to do with at the beginning. Because even Dark World, people don't really like Dark World. People were like, "Oh, it feels like," because the guy from like one of the guys who directs Game of Thrones episodes directed the Thor: The Dark World. So it had that
Hmm.
Game of Thrones feeling. I think that's what people expected, and it just didn't land. And I feel like Taika took it in such an interesting direction that makes sense. You know what I mean? Makes sense for people like this sort of
Yeah,
retro.
yeah, yeah. He
Yeah.
also took the character of Thor into another. He made him more comical,
Mm-hmm.
less less
Less
serious. Because
serious.
on
Yeah.
in yeah, which is a good route because like this, I think a Viking god is kind of
It is
it's
ridiculous.
funny.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let it be funny.
Yeah. No,
Like,
yeah, it's I was thinking I went to see the Northmen like a few weeks ago, which is the Viking movie with what's his name, Alexander Skarsgård, and that is like a full on Viking movie, and even that had a bit of weirdness to it. But I was like watching it, I was like, you really can't, like, you either have to go really ridiculous with Vikings or you got to go super serious, bloody Game of Thrones type of thing with Vikings. And because Disney really couldn't go super bloody for Thor,
mhm,
they tried to sort of do it in between and it didn't work. So it's like, nah, you got to go super ridiculous and very stylistic, you know? You know.
mhm,
Is there
yeah.
anything? Is there anything else from the trailer that sort of like stands out to you, like that you're curious about? Like one thing I'm curious about is where the fuck is that battle happening? Like, what is that? A planet? Is that a fucking moon that like Gore the God Butcher is like stabbing? Like, that already looks crazy. Like, I'm sure it's gonna be an IMAX, so
Mm.
I'm like, that's just gonna look insane.
Wait, so what was your question again? I couldn't.
Like, are there things that stood out? Like, I just said what stood out for me. I'm like curious about that, but like, what stood out for you? Other things that stood out in the trailer.
Um, I'm always things that stand out specifically out of the trailer is I'm curious on what Jane. I'm curious about Jane, like
Mm-hmm.
about why does the she get the hammer? Are they going to stay close to the comic books about her having cancer,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and that's why she has the hammer? I'm curious about that. If like, is that why she gets the hammer? Are they going to keep that real close?
Right.
Also, I mean, I'm always, especially right now, because I'm interested to know. Even though I don't need cameos, I'm very interested on this movie is going to intertwine with what we've seen so far into phase four. What in the Thor world is going to interconnect with all this multiverse stuff
Mm.
that's going on?
Okay.
I'm curious on like what I think is going to happen is on so everything is connecting all that the multiverse stuff, but I feel like the Thor world of things is connecting the hierarchy of like gods.
Mm-hmm.
So we have like regular humans, then you got Thor, who's like the
Superheroes. So
a,
you go. Okay.
a,
Go ahead.
you got regular humans,
Yeah.
you got people, you got superhumans, you got people like Thor who are essentially gods but
Mm-hmm.
aliens
Mm-hmm.
because he's kind of an alien.
Yeah.
Then you have people like the Eternals, and then they're introducing Olympic gods. So curious on where they jump into
Mm-hmm.
the hierarchy of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see those statues of the Living Tribunal, Owatu, and all these things, and that's like an even another hierarchy because that's like people who kind of control the universe.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
so I feel like the hierarchy of gods have to play a part into all of this multiverse stuff, and especially like Owatu and the Living Tribunal and all these Infinity and all these other people.
I mean,
But
I
yeah,
mean, to go off that point, essentially, like we have also what we just saw in Moon Knight, which is the Egyptian gods that have
yeah, the Egyptian gods too.
their
Yeah.
own sort of council and sort of like avatars or representatives of the gods, and we
Hmm.
see like how those gods are seen once they've broken out, like they turn into giant kaiju's, and
Hmm.
also like there's that idea of like Black Panther gods and like the what's it called, the ancestral plane, like
Hmm.
how does that all link up? Like you're right, like they're
Hmm.
like and what else do we have? We have the celestials that you said, that we now got a glimpse of a celestial, like that
Hmm.
essentially creates and destroys everything. Like
Exactly.
yeah, I want to know that and how that all links to the multiverse, or if that even is gonna be a point to it, because that's massive. Like I'm trying to think right now, like
Yeah.
because there's so many things that interject, like who's more powerful than who, like what does it mean to be a, is it a god or is he just an alien that people call a god, like what is it, what truly is a god, and like what is a, you know what I mean, it's very, yeah. Hmm.
There's a lot going on.
It is a lot going on, and that's
It's
the thing, like
a lot going on.
with comics, like that's the interesting, like with comics, like you can sort of suspend your disability, your disbelief a little bit, and you can kind of like go with it. I feel like with movies, you do need a bit of explanation on some things, but I feel
Hmm.
like if they're standing alone, it's fine. But when they start to interconnect, then it becomes like, but wait, who's powerful here? How can this person defeat who? Like, you're a
Right.
regular person who just has a suit of armor. Like, how do you factor into this? You know, like,
Right.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. We'll see. I'm excited about it. Still, I feel like this is the quickest we're getting another Marvel movie after another Marvel movie has came out, right? Like I feel like Doctor Strange
No,
just
no.
came
I
out.
feel like we got. I think we got. You might know. You might be right. Because I'm trying to think how
I feel,
quick what it was. Let me see. Captain Marvel. It was Thor Ragnarok. Then it was Captain Marvel. Then it was, no. It might have been like a month. Because I remember when Captain Marvel came out. I think it came out in March of 2018, and then Infinity War came out in April, or end of April 2018. So I think
okay,
that might have been the shortest amount of time. Um,
okay. Because I'm like, wow, like we literally just got Doctor Strange, and now like literally a month and a half later, we're about to get
but think about
this.
it. We've been getting so much Marvel content literally every month, every 2 months. Like we just got done with Moon Knight, and
Yeah,
Moon Knight, and then Doctor Strange happened, and now we're gonna get, like, I feel like we were only getting like a month break. you know?
and then don't we get Miss Marvel like next month? Doesn't it come out in June?
Yeah, I think it's the first Disney series that sort of kind of crosses over and does like, while a Star Wars series is happening, you get another Marvel thing happening. I think it's the first
Yeah,
time that's happened, because they usually like wait for one of them to
interesting.
be done. But I'm thinking it's because it's more young. It's like young. It's like teen oriented. Like that's the vibe I
Mm.
get from it. I'm gonna watch it still, but it feels very like, oh, like I feel like I'm a little outside of the audience for this one, for Miss Marvel.
Same. Still gonna watch it though.
Yeah, for sure. I gotta catch up. Um,
Yeah, gotta watch it.
yeah, yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
man. It looks
What is the
good.
movie
I'm
after
excited about it.
this? Like, is there gonna be a movie after this? You feel this year?
Yes, Black Panther comes out in November.
Is that the next one after this? Like, that's the next movie?
Black
Hmm.
Panther.
Wow,
Black Panther comes out in November. And
that's
then
crazy.
before that, we get She-Hulk in August.
That's right. That's right. We do get She-Hulk. Jesus Christ, they don't let up, man. Marvel is making, like, Disney's making sure we don't cancel that Disney Plus.
Right?
Man,
Yeah.
yeah.
But it looks good.
It looks
I'm
good.
excited
Yeah,
about it.
yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited to see Thor back. I'm excited to see the Guardians. Like I want to know what they've been up to. Like that ending of Endgame was, it feels like so long ago. So I want to see what they've been up to this whole time. You know?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and then we get that too, right? We get the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special right after Black
That's
Panther.
that's right. Which is essentially like Guardians 2.5. essentially. Yeah, because
Yeah.
Guardians 3 is being, yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited to see it. Like Thor, I think he's gonna, I think he's gonna kill it. They're trying to, you know, yeah, I think they could do it. And I mean, we know they're gonna do it. I think we've reached the point, like I was saying earlier, that people, I guess the audience is almost forgetting that the story matters and not just what the
Hmm.
next cameo is. Like as exciting as
Right.
interconnectivity is, and trying to theorize what's the next step, like enjoy what we're getting and just enjoy that story because that's what matters. If I can rewatch the movie, that's a
Hmm.
good thing. I don't see myself. I haven't gone to see Doctor Strange again. I don't see myself rewatching it again. You know what I mean? So like, I need to. I need a
I've seen
movie.
it twice.
Yeah, I
I've
have
seen it
no
twice.
desire. I have no desire. It's just one of those things where I'm like, where does Doctor Strange end after this? You know what I mean? Like, what's his story? You know what I mean? It's like they forgot. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Well,
yeah, that was like our quick thoughts on the Thor trailer. I hope we didn't really, I hope we didn't regurgitate a lot of information that's already out there on the internet. It's just more of our opinions and our thoughts. I know it's been a while since
hmm
we've given our opinions, but like, we'll get another full episode coming down the line where we actually fully discuss Doctor Strange and fully discuss Moon Knight. So we'll try to get that out soon. But this were just like our initial opinions about the Thor trailer that just came out yesterday or this week, I guess. So cool.
yesterday.
It was yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.